everyone, welcome to today's lesson. Let me start off by saying that I really miss you guys. I miss our time that we spend together in class on a Sunday. I miss the games, I miss our chats, and I hope you guys are all keeping warm, keeping safe, and are well adjusted to the new normal. So today we'll be reading from Genesis chapter 22, verses 1 to 14. Abraham's faith tested. Sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called. Yes, he replied, here I am. Take your son, your only son. Yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will show you. The next morning, Abraham got up early. He saddled his donkey and took two of his servants with him, along with his son Isaac. Then he chopped wood for a fire, for a burnt offering, and set out for the place God had told him about. On the third day of their journey, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. Stay here with the donkey, Abraham told the servants. The boy and I will travel a little further. We will worship there and we will come right back. So Abraham placed the wood for the burnt offering on Isaac's shoulders, while he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the two then walked on together, Isaac turned to Abraham and said, Father? Yes, my son, Abraham replied. We have the fire and the wood, the boy said. But where is the sheep for the burnt offering? God will provide a sheep for the burnt offering, my son. Abraham answered, and they both walked on together. When they arrived at the place where God had told him to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son, Isaac, and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. At that moment, the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Yes, Abraham replied, here I am. Don't lay a hand on the boy, the angel said. Do not hurt him in any way, for now I know that you truly fear God. You have not withheld from me even your son, your only son. Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in the thicket. So he took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in the place of his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh Yireh, which means the Lord will provide. To this day, people still use the name as a proverb. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. So in Genesis 22, we learn about the story of Abraham and how he was asked to sacrifice his only son. Now, from last week's story, we know that Abraham and Sarah had to wait many, many years before they were blessed with that baby boy. And he was literally a miracle by God because Abraham and Sarah were very old. Anyway, and then in Genesis 22, God asks him to sacrifice that gift which he had given him. To me, this would have been one of the most tremendous shocks any parent. Firstly, your prayers get answered, and wow, now you're coming and you're asking me to hand over my long-awaited baby boy. Where's the sense? Anyway, then I ask myself, if this was me, how would I react to this? How would I manage this? Would I be able to obey God in this instance? I don't know. I think this is a tough quest, one of the toughest quests in the Bible. This story does, however, teach us about faith, about love, and trusting God. What I do know is that in our human nature, we can't obey such a command. No, it's only through God's grace that we are able to obey a command like that. Now, this story to me has got quite a few lessons, I think, that we can all learn from. One of which, for me, is that I think that we should all expect tests from God. At some point in our lives, God tests us, which makes me wonder, are we currently going through a test by God? And how are we dealing with that? How are we facing that? Another one for me is that I shouldn't get attached, or we shouldn't get attached to anything. God can demand from us whatever He wants at any time, as He did of Abraham. He demanded his son Isaac. Would you be able to do that? Just hand over? Another one for me is He can ask us to do anything for Him. He will guide us how and where to do it. Same thing He did for Isaac or Abraham. He guided him as to where He wanted Abraham to sacrifice his son. And God expects us to obey Him at all times. He commands us to do anything. One thing we should do is that we should trust and have faith in Him, even though we don't fully understand what He is asking of us. We should honor and obey Him and not hold back anything. He provides us with what we need to fulfill His commands or demands. And one thing we should remember is that God blesses us when we obey Him. We should always be willing and ready to surrender whatever God demands from us. We should also know that everything we are, everything we have, comes from God and belongs to Him. May God help us and give us His grace to enable us to obey Him just like Abraham did, by faith, by love, and by trust. Thank you so much, guys, for your attention. I hope that this lesson meant something to you and you learned something from it. I definitely did. Have a fabulous week ahead. can't wait to see you guys again. Enjoy. Bye.